should stay right there, and this should pull right out of it.
Yeah, and that's the part we need right there.
Yeah.
I think the other stuff is fine. So those are all 9/16. I think we're going to put a chain on that, and
you got to put a chain right around here
and lift up a little bit.
Pressure on it, and then we just pull out on it a little bit at a time.
It's got enough room to get under here?
Well, mine bent right over, but there should be plenty of room. It's only got to come out there that far.
So what we found in here is there's a nut on the end of that shaft. Well, that nut backed out because the people who did the repair on this didn't put the little cotter pin in. It backed right out, it fell off, and then started wobbling around and pretty much made a mess of things. Well, it's back together again, and I turned it by hand, and it seems like the rollers are timed properly. We didn't change the timing on them. We're very careful when we put the chains back on the sprockets that we didn't change the position of one roller relative to the next, because those scrolls got to intertwine. So I'm going to figure out tomorrow if it works. I think pretty much done for tonight. And what happened was I had the local tractor company, not CNY Power Sports, another one, who used to be an international dealer, and replaced the chains and the pulley. And I told them to replace the belt, right? The rubber belt right there. And $1,300 later, they hadn't done that. So they charged me another $800 to pull it back apart and put on that belt, which really ticked me off. And we ran for a little bit, and when they put the nut on the shaft, I'll show you on the one that fell apart. See that right there? There's a nut, and there's supposed to be, you see that hole? It's supposed to be a cotter pin. Well, they didn't do that. The nut backed off, that shaft started moving all over the place, and pretty much took out this. So Doug had a whole gearbox, so that's what we did. We just put the entire assembly in. We just came down here to get some more twine for the baler, and saw a train come across the tracks in Cortland, so I figured I'd see if I can get a little video of him. Now what he's doing is he's getting ready to go to work. And I believe this is the SD33 Eco they got. And he'll be pushing tank cars around in Suit Coat terminals, my guess. Now there's the drag line that they use to dredge the bottom of the pond to get raw materials for their product line. And while I'm standing here watching the drag line, the train's coming up from behind. Let me turn around and get him. What he's going to be doing is going back and forth with the tank cars. And they got to load and unload them in the terminal back there. But I think the drag line is just really cool. I had said this in one of the prior videos that for all the years I used to drive truck, we used to get asphalt and gravel and products like that from Suit Coat. I used to sit underneath that batch plant, you know, getting 12 ton here and 16 ton there of type 7 or type 6, whatever we're going to use, or type 3 binder. I used to hear that noise. I didn't know what the heck it was. And it was the drag line just turning. That's making that little... I don't like to put a camera in the guys' faces when they're working on the train, so I usually just put it down on the ground like I just did. Now he's going to go grab some cars. Well, it's been a little while since we did any videos on the model railroading, right? I think the last time I did videos was when I was testing, I believe, this one, which was a eBay purchase, the 218 ALCO FA Lionel, and we got it running with some minor work and greased it up, and it runs pretty good, right? I like those magnatractions when both the axles are those larger diameter with the bushings and stuff like that. So that's where we ended up. That's where we stopped at the end of last year. Well, it's late summer, and I've been sort of picking things up on eBay little by little by little, and the idea being we'll have projects for the winter time. And so let's just go through some of them. MPC era 8252 Delaware and Hudson has the MPC era powered trucks with the rubber bands for traction, right, instead of magnatraction. And I still like these because they have the electrical pickups on the same powered truck. It makes it easier for me to blend them into other locomotives, you know. Check it out. Another one of these. 2-axle magnatraction as well. I don't know if it runs yet. And this shell is pretty nice, an 8020. Came off of this, which is missing a front truck, but I was looking for the rear pull more motor. I like those MPC era motors. They work pretty good. You see that right there, that little screw? You can adjust how much vertical motion you get out of that armature when you go into reverse. It's almost like a bearing surface, so I can crank it down a little bit and help support that armature from trying to go vertical. You know, rubber bands for traction. So we got that. It does not have an E unit. I think I got this for like 30 bucks. And non-powered B unit, Santa Fe. And check this one out right here. This was one of those $35 purchases. It was supposed to be running. Well, they had wired it in parallel, like I had seen once before, and I believe it was one of these. So all it does is draw lots of amperage and doesn't go very fast. And plus, the way that weight's set up, it's got so much weight over the front that it actually doesn't let the rear get much of that weight, so it just spins. It doesn't go very well. So somebody kind of blew it on this one, but I went and just quickly wired it in series, and that pull more actually works. So I think we'll be able to make this a runner at some point in time. Another one of these, a rough body, but this one actually works pretty good. Look at that, it's a magnatraction. And really haven't done much with this one yet. I don't know if it runs. So this is something we got to work on. This will be a project. I'm not sure what we're going to do with it. But you know what my favorite pickup was? Is these shells. Look at this. Perfect. 8252. This was a dealer, and he saw me and I was talking, and he just handed me these shells and said take them. Look at that. And then the B unit. Isn't that cool? So, got the transformer running. Maybe I better put some of these away. Look at all this junk. So these are going to be the projects for the next couple of months, at least when the snow starts to fly, which is in a couple of months. And we'll see if we can't get these things to run. You know, maybe make another powered B unit or something along those lines. Now this is a 8516, obviously a much later version of the 1516 that has the same kind of valve gear there. But this one right here has that Lionel card for the reverser with a little switch underneath the tender. That switch right there. And it's a little finicky, like the other Lionel, the same era I have. And if you look at the way it's powered, it has a can motor, and then of course it has those gears right there, and has a smoke unit. I do know after a few minutes it'll start smoking the way it's supposed to. Kind of like the way it runs. Pulls pretty good for what it is. I wonder if I can pair it up with the other Lionel ALCOs I have of the same era. And I noticed it doesn't draw a lot of amperage. I've been checking that.